Good morning, folks. It's June 22nd. This is my third garden video for this year. And usually I start out with just a garden tour to see how things are doing, look things over. But one thing I want to just talk about is what gardening has taught me about recovery is recovery doesn't happen overnight. And this garden didn't happen overnight. It took me a lot of years of learning the skills that I have to this point, and I'll still learn more forever. My garden will evolve, and I don't put it in one day. It doesn't start producing fruit in one day. It just all takes time, and it's a process. And it was really important thing to learn about recovery from mental illness to mental health is it's a process and it takes time. And so that's what gardening has taught me. It's just persistence. And if one thing doesn't work, well, you try something else and you adjust what you're doing until you get the results that you want. And so that's why gardening is really very fulfilling to my life, and really helped me to have transferable skills to help me with my recovery to mental health. All right, so let's get started with the garden tour here. All right, so starting right out here, row number 1, there's an eggplant looking good. All right, that's a pretty healthy, nice looking, growing eggplant. You're gonna see ones that I'm not happy with. Tomato plant's growing real good right there. I'm happy with that. Eggplant. Looks like something chewed on it down there a little bit, but I don't see any big damage. There's a nice tomato plant. Notice I got this tomato plant. I got the basket taped to the drip pipe. I got the stake taped to the drip pipe. I got bottom leaves cut off the tomato plant so that these bottom leaves aren't touching the ground. That's how you get the Z's. And then notice I got my first, get it in there right, I got my first clip holding the tomato plant, training the tomato plant up the stake. So got my drip tube in there, so that one's all good. The whole garden is not completed yet. I'm working on that. So there's another eggplant looking all right. Another tomato plant looking good. There's my bucket of white clips. Use them a lot. Nice eggplant. No aphid damage. Very nice tomato plant right there. It's going to need pruning and a clip real soon. Eggplant. It's got a little bit of old aphid damage on it, but it's looking good. Growing back. Tomato plant looking good. I did a better job this year of keeping my signs of what varieties I got going. Nice eggplant, tomato plant, eggplant, tomato plant. Want to keep moving here. All right. Now see, now there's an eggplant. It's a variety that's just not as good as other varieties for meat. All right, so another one of that same variety of eggplant. Not just doing so great, but hasn't been hot. Hasn't been a lot of sunshine. This morning it's like, I don't know, 49 degrees or something out here this morning. Things don't grow good. Here, so here's something growing good. These little peppers. Now when I did buy this pepper plant, it had little baby peppers on it, but they're growing. And there's another pepper plant doing great. New to the garden this year is the Swiss chard. It's doing good as far as I'm concerned. Looking healthy, right? I know I'm going to get nice Swiss chard out of it. These are doing good. Tomato plant. Eggplant that's not going crazy. Tomato plant. Things are looking all right here. We need more sunshine and heat. There's a cauliflower plant looking good, nice and healthy. And there I found, first time this morning, can I find it on the camera? Where is it? There, you see it? That's the first tomato that I found this year. Alright, so that's, it's a step, just like recovery, step by step. Right? And if you do the right things in your garden, you expect to have tomatoes, right? Do the right things in your recovery, you expect to have results. If you're not having results, really think about what you're doing. There's a tomato plant that really needs to be, I need to get that stake in place and get a clip on that tomato plant. That's really pretty tall to get it staked up good, supported good. There's another one that needs good support. This is a variety of tomatoes that I bought that were real long and leggy when I bought them. And there's the sign down there. It tells you it's a beefsteak. Nothing wrong with it. That's just they were longer, taller when I bought them. Planted them good and deep though. So everything's looking good. Here's that plant. Remember last week I told you I didn't know what it was. And still don't know what it is, but it's looking good. I think it's a flower. That's okay, we can have a flower. There's the third row. So this is where I got my lettuce. This end of the row gets a lot of shade from that tree right there. But even though it gets a lot of shade, this end of the row, this end of the lettuce is doing better than the lettuce out here that gets more sun. But that's okay, it'll spread out my harvesting. So we got just tomatoes and lettuce out here. Everything's looking good. Here's some more Swiss chard. Excited about that. And we got the cucumbers. They're getting really good. They're doing really good. Remember, they grow daily practically. They do grow daily. And so really soon I'll start training. I'll use those white clips and I'll get them trained up this trellis. They're doing really good. Really good, really good. Some more Swiss chard. Another tomato plant. That's a heritage variety. I can just tell by looking at it, it's different leaves. They don't always do good, but I don't know, I just like having a heritage. Another Swiss chard doing good. Swiss chard. This is the Swiss chard plant that I told you last week. It wasn't doing great. It wasn't doing great when I bought it. And then I don't know, it got beat down by the rain or whatever, but it's growing out of it. And again, that's good because that'll be one of the last ones I harvest. Here's a nice blossom on my heritage. Brandywine, that's the variety there. And we got some pepper plants. So, I still feel like I'm a little bit behind here, but, again, it's like 48 degrees here this morning, and just, that's okay for the lettuce, but particularly peppers and tomato plants and eggplants, it's not till the summer really gets going that they really get cranking out. So I'm gonna get busy taping up. I'll show you. I'm gonna tape up. I got this far on this first row. I'm gonna tape up more. I got time here this morning before I got to go to work. I'm gonna tape up this irrigation pipe to the basket, and then tape the tomato stake to the irrigation pipe. And that's kind of a big step where I'm at with the garden right now. Get all my taping done. It's a lot of taping. It takes 5 or 6 sessions out here to get it all done. So I'm gonna get that started and I'll bring you back. So you're in this picture. There you go. All right, so here I'm gonna demonstrate all the taping that I have to do, but it gives a. All right, so here I'm gonna demonstrate all the taping that I have to do, but it holds up all the tomato baskets and keeps the pipe in place, keeps the stake in place for the tomato plant. So again, this is just how I do it. So where's my tape here? Oh no, this is really hard to do with only two hands, so I guess I have to do it with two hands. There we go. So what I do is wrap the tape around the pipe, get it good and anchored, then bring the tape through here. Doesn't take much tape at all. Alright, so that's got my tape. Then I cut it off long. Then I fold this over so in the fall I can get a hold of it and unwrap it. If I just break it off or cut it off flush, it's so hard to get started. So then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to cut off a couple of these bottom branches, keeping them off the ground. Remember, that's how you get disease in your plants, is these bottom branches touching the ground. Sometimes it hurts to do it, but just like recovery, sometimes you got to take stuff out of your life in order to move forward. So I'll have to do that a couple more times as the plants grow. So then I put the stake in place. Looks like it's going to fit better over here. There we go, good spot. Push the stake down a little bit. You don't have to push it down real far. It's not holding anything up vertically. It's just holding stuff up horizontally. So then I just, again, wrap my tape around the pipe, and it's wet from dew right now, but as long as you get the tape sticking to itself, it's just fine. There we go. There we go. Cut it off long. Fold it over so I can get it undone this fall. Take my little white clip, hook it on as low as I can, and then we're done. Just gotta do that a whole bunch more times. All right, so that's what's going on in the garden this morning for this week, last week. Have a great day and work on your recovery.